Hello, everybody, and welcome to my first attempt at a guidey tutorial thingy. We are doing this on the MiniMax Prototype 3.1 edition. This is the current, newest Prototype edition, which has a whole bunch of fantastic fixes from the old one, which, if you're seeing this for the first time, you have no idea what I'm talking about anyway, so that's okay. Welcome to the starting screen. We are looking at the Ali, which are the human realm of the two realms. And then if we click this button at the top, we can see the Kriya, which are more beast-like bipedals. For Ali, we have, which I'm mostly going to be focusing on Ali for this, since that is what I will be playing as. I will be playing against the AI, which doesn't use any of the spells or cool things that you can do to make your life easier with winning. This video is also not going through strategies. This is more like a kind of like a base understanding of the game to make it easier on you for just starting out. On the far left-hand side here, we've got our selected hero, Ortho. Down here underneath him is where the additional characters will be for when you have extra heroes that you can click on and select. Right now, we've got Ortho. The next set of boxes, we've got these beautiful vertical boxes. The top one empty with 0 out of 60 selected, and the bottom is our unit bar. If you highlight over them, you'll get a short description of kind of what they do. Really good to read through them all, as they all play a very important role. And you just add them by clicking on them, you remove them by clicking on them. If you go over the 60 number, it'll light up red and say, no, bad, bad. So bad, don't do that. You just can't start the game, that's all. What I generally like to do is, first off, I like to make sure I have at least 2 rows. I have to fill 2 rows. It's pretty important that you fill 2 rows, due to the fact that, let's say I put only 4 in here, which is the minimum to start the game. You only need 4. So I have 4. My Kriya buddy here did this. So his units will continue to spawn until you reach the end, and they spawn in groups of 2. So once he reaches the end here, I would have already gone through my units. They're probably already gone and dead by then. His are still spawning in. When his stops spawning in, that is when both of ours will start over at the beginning of the list. So it's very important that you have at least 2 rows, because that's like the best use of your supply here, and the most amount of time that you can chain with useful units. The next thing you want to do is make sure you spread your units out. So you want your tanky units to be spread out. You don't want to do something like this, because these 2 footmen are going to spawn first. Then this footman and artilleryman will spawn, and then all of your ranged will spawn, and they'll all be clumped together, and a single spell, the single burning star, will just take them out and eat them and destroy them. You don't want that to happen. You want to spread them out. So what I generally like to do is I'll do a footman. I usually skip over the heavy footmen. They're very good. They're very good. They take so much damage. They're extremely hard to kill, but I generally skip over them because there's less of them. If you do decide to use these, it's much easier to keep track of them. It's much easier to keep them alive with a Divine Breath. So it's generally up to you. So what I generally like to do is I'll put a footman, an archer, a footman, and then I'll use my specialty units. I'll get a single sorcerer, a single artilleryman. And then I will go for another footman, and then I'll fill it up with either an additional artillery or 2, or 2 archers, or an archer and artillery. I generally play around with these last two. Depends on what my opponent's doing, but we'll get into that later. So we'll just keep it like this. For Korea, I would then do the opposite. I would go Beast, Javelin, Beast, Bomber, Artilleryman, Beast again, Javelin, and then, or 2 bows, just to make sure that I hit this double limit. Which, again, super important. You can even do, I think, no, you can't do that. This, you can do that. That works. This is very good. Very good. It is okay for Korea to be down 1, because Maraca has a passive ability which doesn't show here yet, but he can heal when other units around him die. So that's why it's okay to be down 1. It just really hurts you. You have to be much more careful. Which is why I like playing Ally. Much easier. Much easier for me. Now we go to the next set of boxes. We have got our spells. I'm not going to go over them. You can easily read the tooltips. As you can see, the big number here in the raindrop is their mana cost. The spells that I personally like to remove are Sanctuary and either Static Electricity or Phantom Menace. I will mostly remove Phantom Menace just because it has the higher cost to Static Electricity, and Static Electricity does damage and pushes things around. This is generally my setup. Ooh, I gotta push start on Korea. There we go. Alright, so now we're gonna go into the game. This game is gonna be over very, very quickly. I've only selected 4 units for Korea just so you can see why it is so bad to have just like a single row, or to not really utilize making a longer chain of units. Plus, he's not going to be using spells, so we'll just kind of shit on him. As far as this goes, here is the game. We start on the left. No matter what realm you pick, you'll always be on the left. As you can see, the screen's a little dark. That means it's nighttime. The game will cycle between night and day. I believe it's random on phase 1 which one it starts with. At least I haven't noticed. First thing I want to get into real quick is these trees. Get rid of them. Use Orto to get rid of them as quickly as possible. Carry on to them. Get rid of them. You don't want them there. The reason why, your guys will now walk through here, where his will be walking the whole way around. Another thing to note, as you can see, my units are still spawning in. His have stopped a long time ago. And now we're just kind of Shrek on through them. Another thing to note, you should have your hands in 2 places. I should have done this earlier, but I forgot. Hands in 2 places. On your keyboards, keys 1 through 5. You'll see the number above your spells down here. 1 through 5, they correspond with your keyboard. It is so much faster to press the button on your keyboard and click where you want the spell to go. You can have your mouse literally anywhere. I can say I'm getting ready to Divine Voice these guys. I'll put it here, press 4, click, and I used wall because I pressed 5 instead. Good job, me. So let's try that again. Mouse here, 4, click, bam. So much faster than coming down here, clicking Burning Star, and then clicking on where you need it to be. You can preemptively just kind of wreck their shit in. Another good thing to know, these rocks, this rock, these trees. This rock, least important rock in the game. Least important rock. This rock is probably the most important rock because it's kind of like right in the way of these trees. Units can still kind of get around them, which gets really annoying sometimes because they get stuck right there. You don't want them to get stuck right there, so you want to try and get rid of those rocks. You can use Orto, you can use Maraca, you can use Static Electricity, just get rid of that rock. These trees over here are good for you. These trees up here are good for your opponent. The reason why, his ramp right here from his base goes directly down right up here. That's a shorter walk for him, whereas yours would have to walk the whole way around and up. So that means he can get a nice concave on your units, and you're just kind of stuck. I forgot to mention this rock right here. This rock is also a good rock. Destroying that rock along with these trees, that gives your units the shortest path possible to his base. So if your opponent destroyed these trees, destroy this rock. As far as the spells go, to keep things as simple in terms of easy strategy, I like to make sure I almost always have a staircase up here. This is so important to make sure you have this staircase up here. The reason being, a lot of people will put a wall right here. If this wall is right here, your units will bunch up right in this spot right here if they don't have anywhere else to go. This staircase will prevent that. So try your best. Make sure you got a staircase there. If you put it really close to this rock, the units that come out here will spread out. They'll come down this ramp. Your units will come down this ramp. Or the other half will go down this ramp. You can put another staircase here. And if these trees are gone, your units will now be coming from the top of the map and the bottom of the map. That's generally how you get a nice surround on your opponent's units while they're not looking. This is very good. The more spread out your units are, the less chance that they can just drop a burning star and kill them all, or a phantom menace and slow them all down. You could also choose to buff which one is going slower. So if this one's here, you can use Divine Voice, and then they'll push up here, and you'll get the surround faster. It's really good to have your units spread out. But that is pretty much it in terms of like the quick and easy strategies. So I think what I'm going to do here is just kind of completely mess him up by throwing random spells in cool spots, like that Divine Voice used to get them up that ramp as fast as possible. I think only one unit can go up the ramp at a time, so you have to be careful of that. Another thing is you can use Burning Star and Zap and Orto's ability or Maraka's ability to actually destroy walls. This is really, really important to note. Do you see how much that did to that wall? Now it's gone. If a wall is like right in the middle and your guys are trapped behind it, use your hero to get rid of it. If he's got a ton of rangers in the back of his line and your units are stuck on the front, jump behind them. Get rid of those ranged units because they're going to kill your hero. The most important thing for you in this game is keeping your hero alive. If your hero is dead, you're basically dead. There's ways to come back from it. Your hero's going to eventually come back after some time. But the longer you can keep your hero alive, the better off you'll be, because the hero can kill the most amount of units for the least amount of mana. Which means you'll have mana to drop walls in their base, build staircases, clear some trees, heal your units. So the longer you can keep your hero alive, the better. And that means, like, if you're about to clash and you see that he's about to jump in, just jump backwards. Get your hero behind your minions. So that way when he lands down, they're hitting their hero, and then you can just your hero will kind of walk forward, and then you can break him down with your spells. Keep your hero alive. He is the lifeblood of your army. But that is it for the basics, the absolute basics, and I threw a little more of them advanced stuff in there just so you had something to focus on. Good stuff. Good talk. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Maybe the next prototype, depends on how much they change. If not, this is the core of the game. This is what's going to be here. This information I just gave you will last you for a long time, at least until more heroes come out, depending on what those heroes do. So yeah, that's my have a good time after time talk. Toodles.